only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Evolution Post Show. I do apologize in advance that Mel couldn't make it to be here with me, so I am playing out solo. I don't do this often, so we'll see how this goes. Got to see some people rolling in. I see Zach. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. I hope you're still here somewhere. Yes, I'm still recovering from this show. It got me a little bit emotional tonight. Waiting 8 years for the show is just I don't know why they waited so long. I really don't. I hope they make this a yearly event because it got me right in the feels today. Hello, Ed. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Sorry if I'm a little nervous. I'm still like recovering from this whole show because it was great from beginning to end. I have no complaints whatsoever. I would say a slight complaint maybe. I'm still like I was hoping for some other women in the battle royal that would be kind of like surprises, especially because it was semi-main on the show itself. We didn't get any, unfortunately. But again, the performance from everybody incredible, honestly. And Bobby says, "Hello, Ashley. How are you? What a show! What a crowd! Wow." I am doing well. I'm recovering from the show, to be honest. I may have to rewatch it later because it was incredible. It really was. The fact that you get to see this woman perform the way they do, it just wow. Yeah, I have no other words. It was really well done. If you haven't had the chance to check it out, please do. I hope you do because I really want this woman to, so they can see the difference they make with these shows. Logan, Asuka versus Rhea felt like the women's version of Sword versus Osprey. Absolute 5-star. This is why Io's the greatest. She delivers every single time. Yeah, I feel like they did very well with that main event. It was very different from what I expected it to be honest. But here we go. STG. Yeah, I guess I'm accepting my name of Hollywood Asher. It looks like so. It is what it is. Yeah. So far so good. Hello. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. But yeah, doing very well. I figured I will keep changing a little bit here of the pictures on my side as we talk about the matches here tonight. And so sure you were upset about the build, and I understand why. Thank you. Yeah, my major complaint about this show was definitely the lack of build up. And I know people be like, "Well, why are you complaining about that? We got a great show." But I feel like when you want the show like this to show that it's important, you better show it on your weekly shows to show that importance. I feel like the show that had the best build up for this was NXT, to be honest. And I may be a little biased because I watch NXT on a weekly basis, but again, it's the fact that they were building up to this and they showed promos and they had all the ladies show up and do like a little, I guess, them fighting in the ring before everything happened. So this was, I think, the best build up in that sense of it. This was best show the entire weekend. Sorry for stealing your thunder and rants. No, you're not stealing any thunder. I can't say anything about the best show of the entire weekend because I haven't seen everything. I'm catching up. I'm starting with Great American Bash, and then moving on to Saturday Night's main event, and hopefully All In after that. So I have to hold off on my answer on that later on. But for now, it is the best show of the weekend for me because it's the only one I've seen entirely. Well, yeah, let's go from completely here from the beginning of the show. We started off with the women's. What they gave an intro to Stephanie. That she was like hosting with Joe here as well. They did show a couple of ladies. I'm gonna mention the ones I was able to see during the commercials. I had to prep for the show, so I might miss a couple. I saw Jacqueline at ringside. I saw Melina, who got a huge reaction, which I was so happy about. She doesn't get the recognition that she should be for what she's done in women's wrestling. I know they show Alundra Blaze, Leilani Kai, and they show Mark Henry for some reason. I don't know why. I was thinking they should have shown the women so far. I believe Kelly said that she didn't come back tonight because that's what they offered her to be from the crowd and waving, and she didn't want to do that, so she declined the offer. And there might have been other women who may have done the same thing as well. I don't blame her because after being away for a while, I wouldn't want to be in the crowd just waving. To be honest, Molly Holly's other one that that I saw as well. That they were. I like the intro they gave to her too. I missed Jazz. I saw Landra with the championship too. SCG. For me, this was the best wrestling. Not so much about the sponsors and such. Pure wrestling. Yeah, I definitely agree when it comes to the consistency of the show. There was no bad match tonight that I could see from my point of view. There was no show that was like kind of like a bathroom break sort of match in my opinion. But from the beginning, we started off with Becky versus Lyra versus Bayley. Uh, really enjoyed this one as well. I like how Debbie's kind of figured out that formula for these multi-woman matches, and this one really delivered. Speaking of which, where's my boy? Which one are you talking about? Is that Ed? Because Ed is not going to be here, sir. It's the women's show. Welcome, Raiders. Ooh, we got a raid. Bobby, if you can tell me from where because I can't see. Dang. I see how it is. He's irrelevant right now. Oh, it's probably from Get the Tables. Thank you, Tony. Fantastic show from top to bottom. I definitely agree. He didn't watch. See, Ed is upset, as you can see. Okay, Get the Tables ready. Thank you, Bobby, for confirming. Um, no, thank you, Tony, for the read. I appreciate it. I'm a little bit nervous being by myself here. I will try my best here. But yeah, this was a great opener. I like the back and forth they had here with all the ladies. All those like double pins and that double DDT for Becky as well was really well done. I love the fact that it was one of those things like at first for a quick moment you saw Becky and Bayley teaming up against Lyra. But even then there was moments of like everybody was going against each other somehow. And there was no like quiet moment during this match. Well, that emote is gonna get a lot of getting used like quite often at this point. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed this match. It was a great opener. I feel like based on the build up, I would have thought that this could have main evented the show as well, aside from Io and Rhea, because the build up was so well done. Out of between this one and I would say Jade and Naomi as well. But in the way I'm glad they opened. This is exactly the 10th anniversary since Becky, Sasha, aka Mercedes Monet, and Charlotte got called up to the main roster. So I think it's incredible that they get to celebrate it this way this weekend. Mercedes having a great moment in her match with Tony Storm, and then the ladies having their match in that as well. Oh, that got removed. It has a 2-cent lawyer and Lionel Hutz. What the heck? This won't be removed. And then we get Jordynne, who was a little bit earlier asked by Blake Monroe, okay, Mariah May, if she was okay with her accompanying her to her match. And Jordynne says, sure. I mean, it was like, we teamed up last night. Everything went well. What could go wrong, right? And then we had Jacy with Fatal Influence. So we have Fallon and Jasmine there as well. Again, fun match too. I love the beginning here with Jordynne doing a suicide dive, and after she landed, she was just so happy the way she did. I loved it here. She did some kind of like crucifix sort of thing. I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe Ed will be the person that he always helps me out with the names of the moves. But he had she had a Jacy like kind of like a crucifix kind of on her back, and she kept like hitting her in the post. It was really well done. There was a point here that Fallon takes the title, and Jasmine goes to distract the referee, and then Jacy's about to use that on Jordynne, but the referee stops Jacy from taking the championship. And then Mariah's outside. She headbutts Fallon. I like how after she does the headbutt, she kind of does a little thing like this and being dramatic at the end there. And yeah, I like the fact that then Jasmine takes the championship, and then after that, Mariah takes her out. So Mariah takes the championship, and Fallon goes to distract the referee. And as she's doing that, Mariah hits Jordynne with the championship, and Jacy retains. This whole ending sequence here was really well done. I really enjoyed the way it happened. And this was something that I had a feeling would happen after they teamed up with each other. It was no surprise here of having Blake Monroe being involved in this match. That definitely didn't surprise me whatsoever. I was waiting for that sort of way to like help out with like that heel turn. So I knew this was going to happen and leading up to hopefully a Blake versus Jordynne feud. So I know this is exactly what they're going to next, as Jacy it's going to go against Masha at Slammiversary, which is coming up next Sunday. So that should be exciting as well. But again, it goes back, and I'll give him credit for that too. What the point that Ed said, that Corey Grace had pointed out of, yeah, every time Jordynne has an opportunity, she loses. but I wonder how Blake's assistance here is going to factor into that as well. But again, I love the creative ending here of having Blake being that person that it's involved in here somehow, aside from Fatal Influence too. And right after this, we headed off to the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championships. It was Zaria and Ruca from NXT, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss from SmackDown, the Kabuki Warriors from Raw, and then Raquel and Roxanne defending the championships for the first time together. I do love the chemistry that we have from Raquel and Roxanne from the beginning already. It was not something like we could expect in a way because it's the first time they team up with each other, but I really liked it. I like that at the beginning here we get Roxanne kind of facing off with the Kabuki Warriors, and she gets kind of like trapped in between both of them there. Raquel takes out Charlotte and Zoe and Zaria in the corners. Zaria takes a moment to tag herself in, and she overpowers Alexa in such a way that was really fun to watch. She even kicked out Charlotte at one point. The crowd was really into wanting Charlotte to be in this match. And I love the fact that even when she wasn't there, they were chanting that they wanted Charlotte there. This match is one nobody wouldn't have liked, but it was proving out this was very excellent. Yeah, I like the fact that everybody got a spotlight in this match. This is another thing that every team got a moment in the match in itself. Like like tagging in, doing their thing, and then tagging out, and it was a constant thing of like a revolving door within all the teams. I feel like one that I saw the least was probably the Kabuki Warriors, but either way, I feel like they balanced it very well in that aspect of it, that everybody was able to show off themselves in this match. So Charlotte tagged in, she took out Zoe and Zaria in the corner, and she gave a spear to Roxanne. So I love the fact that at that point Roxanne is out, so Zaria goes to break the pin. And because she's not the legal person, she drags Roxanne to her corner and tags herself in afterwards right there. And then, so Ruca does a double team there that is really well done. And one of my favorite moments of this match, that Soul Snatcher to Charlotte was just amazing. The crowd reaction she got when that happened was just incredible. That was a crazy ending. I love the fact that in this particular moment, Zaria is setting up for the spear, and Charlotte saves Alexa from the spear. So Zaria ends up spearing Soul. And Raquel just pins Soul right afterwards after the Hannah bomb. So again, fun match all around, and I love like the celebration of Raquel and Roxanne. You can see the moment of like Raquel's like, "I'm warming up to you," and she's warming up a little bit more to Roxanne being her partner there. And I love how they celebrated at the end. I feel like that was very fun. Right after this, we had Tiffany versus Trish Stratus. This is one that I was I don't want to say torn about, but it's one of those that I was not particularly like looking forward to watching from the get go. I feel like I haven't been a fan of Tiffany's reign so far in the way they have booked her. And again, this was another one that it was kind of like lazy booking of like, I just want to pick whoever I want. But it just reminded me so much how even with the time off that she has in between, every time she returns, Trish does not miss. She did so well during this, and I feel like at times she even did better than Tiffany, in ring wise. But they have really great chemistry. I love how they in the commentary they remind us of again. Um, it reminds us again of like they teamed up together to where they are now here as opponents, and it's been I think it was like 17 years or so, a few years since Trish had gotten her last championship match there as well. So yeah, really fun match. I really enjoyed what they had here. I like the fact that Trish did a tornado DDT, and then she put her knees up when Tiffany went for the PME for the first time. Definitely had it scouted, but the second time around, it still went through, and Tiffany was able to retain. And to say this is definitely one of my favorite matches from tonight, which was Naomi versus Jade Cargill. This is a no holds barred match. I believe they said it was the first no holds barred match, and Bianca was the special guest referee in this match. So I like the fact that I will say right now as a note is that throughout the match, she is looking at both of them, checking up on both of them, but checking up on both a little bit more on Jade and asking her, like, are you okay? You sure don't want to give up? And Jade was saying, no, I want to continue. But she was checking up on Jade a little bit more than she was in Naomi. But in this particular match, I was kind of hoping that we will kind of get more of Bianca siding with one of them, one of another. Oh, she did us at the end, though, when she raised Jade's hand. She looked at her and gave her that face of, like, kind of like sympathy, meaning that I don't want to say she particularly took her side, but it was more like sympathy towards her situation, what was happening, but they still don't talk like they did before, which is the irony of it. Jill, do you mean Jade versus Naomi, or do you mean the Trish versus Tiffany that I was discussing a little bit before? I know I'm a little bit delayed when it comes to comments. I just want to be sure which one we're discussing here. Um, yeah, this is. I love the fact that there was a one point that Jade did a big boot to Naomi, who was inside the trash can. Jade went to throw in this like toolbox, almost landed on Naomi, but she moved out of the way, and she also kicked Jade. Yeah, she kicked Jade to the TV monitor that was in front of the commentary table at one point, and it came up in smoke, and it just went off after that. I did at one point also during the match, Bianca was pleading Jade that if she wanted to stop the match in itself, as I said, and it's very interesting that Jade said she wanted to continue, but she only did it with her. Yeah, Trisha Tiffany. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the build up, like you said, just because it was thrown together the way it was, and with all the changes going around, it definitely was affected in that sort of way, unfortunately. But yeah, I totally agree with you. But yeah, overall, really fun match. As I was discussing it with Bobby as he was watching too, I was really torn about the result of this match, just because I was thinking of the aspect of Jade has a championship match at SummerSlam. I don't think she should lose, but then Naomi's the Money in the Bank winner. I don't want her to lose either. But and then we had Jade had won already beforehand, so it's like I was very in the middle with both of these. But at the end, I like the ending because it was Jade from the top rope, and Naomi landed right in the middle of the table, and the table just broke. And like I said, Bianca was raising her hand at the end the way she was pleading to her. And no, it's okay. No, you have to go with the quote from Princess Iris: "A queen is never late. Everybody's just simply early." That's what you always have to say. That's the best answer. STG. So I feel Jade has everything but decent technical wrestling skills. She has more work to do for me. I get where you're coming from. At the same time, I feel like her working with the people she's working with, like a Bianca and Naomi, will help her get better just because they have so much experience. So I definitely feel like she's not the best, but I feel like she has definitely grown a lot as well. Uh, Naomi Genji was good. This is far from over. Oh yeah, but did you watch the ending though? We'll see what the ending. I feel like that will be very interesting. Next up, we have the Battle Royal. I have a couple notes on this one, and hopefully, I get everything correctly here because it was a lot. I believe it was 20 spots based on the graphic that we got. I was hoping again, like I said earlier, for some surprises. Is it set in stone that Jade's different? Yes, because Jade won the Queen of the Ring, and it said whoever won Queen of the Ring will get the championship match up at our SummerSlam. They just mentioned it of like Jade will go against the winner of Trish versus Tiffany before tonight started. Um, and same thing with Cody as well. Like his match will be at SummerSlam as well. So that was part of the finals for the Queen and King of the Ring. There you go. But yeah, it was set in stone for sure. They hadn't really put up a graphic, which I was surprised about. Usually they put up a graphic of like Jade and then the at least Tiffany and Trish on the other side, making us look like we don't know who's gonna win this match. But yeah, they have mentioned it for SummerSlam there. Michael Korshulo saying Candice Michelle. Wade Barrow is angry and pissed. I noticed that too during this battle royal because we have Candice LeRae, and instead of saying Candice LeRae, he kept saying Candice Michelle, and it definitely irritated Wade at some point. It was kind of funny the way it irritated him, though. I can say that much. So yeah, we have the battle royal. We had Candice LeRae got an entrance, Nia Jax, Stephanie and Julia. Those reactions are Stephanie and Julia from the crowd were really amazing. I feel like in the little time they've been in the main roster, they have really gotten great reactions from them. They have really been building that connection with the crowd. I feel like Stephanie a little bit more than Julia, but again, I enjoy both of them and I love what they're doing with them so far. And then we had in the ring, we had Zelina, we had BFAB, Michin, Chelsea, Nikki Bella, Natty, Ivy, Lola, Maxine, Kalani, Alba Fire, Piper Niven, Lash, Izzy, Jada, Tatum. And I think hopefully I got everybody from there. So right from the get-go, we had Naya took out Tatum, and she also took out Izzy. So I like she went right for the NXT girls, like right at the beginning. She went for Kalani as well, but Kalani got that Kofi spot that he does at the Rumble. Kalani got saved because she ended up landing on Tatum and Izzy, kind of like a crossbody sort of position. So they put her on the commentary table, and she was just standing there trying to figure out how to get back in there. But with her gymnastics background, she was able to do kind of like a handstand, and she was able to get in there. And she still was able to be in the match a little bit longer. So I feel like usually most people, when they have that Kofi spot, they usually get eliminated right as they land in the ring. But I'm glad that she lasted a little bit longer than that. We're definitely gonna have a couple of notes on this one just because we have so many people in the ring. But right after this, we had Candice was protecting Naya at some points during the match as well. People try to eliminate her, and Candice will break it up somehow. And then we had the secret Hervis protecting Chelsea in the background there as well. So it happened very often. I like the storytelling that we got of those connections there throughout the match. And then Kalani had an interaction with Lola there as well. I was so mad NXT girls got eliminated so quickly. I know, me too. Especially like Izzy and Tatum, but I'm glad that people like Lash got a spotlight because I feel like lately ever since Chikara got released, we haven't seen much of Lash. So I was very glad that she got a spotlight in the end there as well. Yep, Bobby said it herself. Last session was the NXT stand-up for this match by far. I definitely agree. Uh-oh, SCG. Hollywood Ashford, I must confess something to you. Let's see, what is it? What's the confession? I'll give you a moment to do your confession. How about this? I'll give you a moment because hopefully there's no ads right now because I'm not running them myself. We'll give you a little more moment for you to think about it. So hopefully, let's see if I can find it here. I cannot for some reason. Okay, here we go. I'm going to play the calendar to give SCG a moment to type his answer and tell me everything. Okay, so I'm going to have it for the final tune the match. Me too. So I'm going to go for the calendar really, really quickly.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Fools are calling and the odds seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me this time is coming for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Know that I need you anyway.
So it looks like they give CG enough time to come up with this confession. Let's see. Officially, like my hometown girl Chelsea, her work has grown on me a lot. You were right. She's so good at being annoying that I can't help but give her flowers. I'm standing by my hometown girl from this point forward. I'm glad you saw the light. I'm glad you did. No, she's really. What I love about Chelsea though, she's very very selfless in that aspect of it. I feel like about one of her interviews, I think it's the one with CVV, if I'm not mistaken. It really opened my eyes a little bit more to Chelsea and her mindset because she's one of those people that she's not afraid to make almost like a fool out of herself to give you that moment. And she says how she's always trying to think of ways to get those kind of moments and get the social media team to like clip them later for other things. And she's always trying to think outside the box for different things. She's like, I don't care about modding. I care about having that moment. And I really made me respect her even more than I did before because I feel like it's one of those people like she doesn't have to win all the time, but she doesn't mind having that moment even though she's losing. And I really learned that about I love that about her so much. The fact that she's ever just thinking of like how can I make this a thing? How can I make this a moment for myself and for these ladies in a spotlight here? I too was a brief Chelsea hater, but I learned. I'm glad you learned your ways. But yeah, I definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. She has, I think, one or two interviews with CBB talking about in detail about that stuff, and I think the other one is the Lightweights podcast. I forget the name of the host, but if you look up Lightweights, he has a recent interview with Chelsea as well, and again talking about her character and making those moments for herself, and I love that. Chelsea knows her spot, and I respect her. Exactly. She knows she's not going to be one of those people like she's going to be at the top always, but she's always trying to make it the best that she can and take an opportunity out of any moment. And I love that about her. Well, to continue up with the Battle Royal, interviews will be fantastic. Yeah, definitely. Always watching to study to some of the people that in the community. So he's one of those I always try to listen to his interviews at least. But yeah, we had a moment that Secret Hervis was protecting Chelsea. Naya had a little moment there with Lash too. I really like having those moments with the two powerhouses in this match. We had in one of the corners, Stephanie was headbutting to Ivy. Apparently, I missed this part most likely. Ivy had was giving the mission by Chad Gable to stop Stephanie, and there's like, oh, she's going towards that mission that was given to her, and we had a moment that Julia was assisting there as well. And they had a moment with Julia and Nikki, and also a little face up between Julia and Stephanie, and they kept headbutting each other. And then Stephanie went to do the doubles kiss to Nikki Bella, but Chelsea interrupted it, which got a really huge reaction from the crowd there. And Secret Service tries to remove Nikki away from Chelsea and that was happening in the moment. I like the teaming here between Natty and Maxine. We saw that a couple of times during this match, just like Michin and BFAB as well. I love that part of it. And then Maxine did the warm to Alba Fire and Chelsea, and then Natty did her own version of the warm too. That had a really nice reaction from the crowd too. We had a moment there with Jada and Natty, and then Millie saying Secret Herbis and Mia and B5 spent the most time on their own in the corner, which was hilarious. I love those moments, and this is why I want to rewatch it later, because those moments that you can see in the corners and you can not pay attention to what's happening in the center of the ring, but those things in the corners that you don't pay attention to, and it was always something kind of funny moments between all of them. But yeah, I love those kind of moments like this. Right after that, we had Candace with Maxine. She took her out, and then Jada with Candace there as well. And then Michin and Bifa, they did the long back attack, which is Michin's move to Kalani and Jada in the corner, and they took out Jada as well. And then Naya took out Kalani, but Candace, who was eliminated a little bit beforehand, gave her the assist from the outside to take out Kalani there. So appreciate that that Mia was the one to eliminate Jada. Yes, I'm always happy for that one. I'm sorry. I don't mind that part of it. Zelina gave Julia try to give her like a code red on the apron. And Julia needs Zelina, and Julia bounced up for the post, and she was able to eliminate it because of Zelina there, which is something that I wasn't expecting, to be honest. But this is again to continue with that feud between both of them. Again, another insurrection. Hollywood Usher bias. You know why. We're not going to talk about that tonight, but you know why. Forgot to include that there too. And then again, same thing with like Piper and BFAB. Another moment between Chelsea and Michin, and Alba in a moment kind of sacrifices herself to help out Chelsea, which is funny because I know she went through like the middle rope. And they were talking about that in commentary later, that even though she sacrificed herself to protect Chelsea, she went through the middle rope, so she was still in the match. Lash took out my girl Zelina. That one broke my heart, but I knew it was going to happen eventually. And kind of she threw Zelina to Michin and Bifa that got eliminated a few minutes before that. And then Lash had a moment with Chelsea and the Secret Service, and Nikki threw out Alba Fire there as well. Nikki then gave a spear to Chelsea, and she had a moment with Lola, the I'm a Latina move that Lola likes to do that Andre really enjoys, that one. And again, I got a huge reaction from the crowd there to be able to share the moment together. Piper took out Lola, and then Stephanie and Nikki took out Piper. And then for the end, we had still Lash, Stephanie Vaquer, Nikki, Chelsea. Chelsea got the devil's kiss from Stephanie, and Nikki then took out Chelsea. Lash kind of was working on taking out Naya and Nikki, but she took Nikki out. And then we had Stephanie, Lash, and Naya for the last three. Stephanie and Lash really teamed up with each other to take out Naya, so they were able to at the end. And I love that before that happened, the commentary said we have somebody from each brand. We have Stephanie representing Raw, Naya representing SmackDown, and Lash representing NXT. And then they took out Naya. And then Stephanie did the devil's kiss on the apron to Lash, and she was able to win. So now she has a championship match at Clash of Paris. Julia and Stephanie just having their own one-on-one in the middle doing around Chaos with perfection. Yeah, that's what I really love about these kind of matches, that if you concentrate in the middle of the ring, this is when some of the like mini storylines happen. And even if something that hasn't happened between two people, when it does happen, it leads to something else even after the match. And I really love watching like that happen as it just comes out from after the battle royal here. Because we never know what's gonna happen with Nikki now since Liv is out, but then Nikki said she was gonna stick and be here for a while, even after SummerSlam or around SummerSlam time. So let's see who they put her to go against now since Liv is not here. But I did want to pause on this moment because then after Stephanie went in, we got Stephanie McMahon coming in the ring. And she says she wants to ask Stephanie a question, but she's like, bear with me. I'm going to try to say it in Spanish. Stephanie McMahon then starts asking Stephanie Valkyria, what does her victory mean to her? And I love that moment here between both of them. The best friends make sure to have their moment. They did. They really did. I love that. But yeah, I love the fact that Stephanie here tried to say that question in Spanish to Stephanie. So I love the fact that she said, sorry if I say it, say it wrong or make mistakes because this English is not my first language. And the fact that I can relate so much to her because as I'm talking to you guys here, English is not my first language, it's my second language. So there's times that I still struggle with it because I have my bilingual brain growing up. Hollywood actually cringing and Stephanie McMahon Spanish. I did not actually. She did very well with the pronunciation. So I was very proud of her that she did. And she did it. And I love Stephanie's smile of like, she could see that Stephanie McMahon was really trying to connect with her in that sense of it. And I really love that moment there. And I love Stephanie, the way she responded, like, English is not my first language, but wrestling is my first language. And she's like, I will keep working hard to be where I am. And she thanked all the women that not only were here tonight with her, but the ones that came before, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have this pay-per-view. And just saying that I will keep working hard because I want to get that championship and I want my name to be remembered forever. And if you haven't seen that part of it, I definitely recommend it. That was one of my favorite moments tonight. Give you goosebumps, and I teared up just listening to Stephanie back here and that promo that she did. Again, really well done. And right after this, we're going in here to the main event, which was Rhea versus Io Sky. Again, a really well done match. This is something that it didn't come off the way I expected it to because I was thinking that Rhea was going to win this match. I thought this is the main event for a reason. This has to end on a big note, thinking that we haven't had any title changes soon as something has to happen during this match to make it the main event over any other matches. And that was my point of view heading into this. And the beginning, Io and Rhea have that leapfrog moment. And Rhea does Io's emo, and she gets a great crowd reaction from that. And Rhea says, "I respect you," and Io says, "I respect you as well." But then they keep fighting after that too, and I really like that here between both of them. Millie, the way she is so appreciative of those willing to talk to her in Spanish, and then her being so open about working on her English, which is getting so good. Yeah, I feel like one thing about Stephanie Vecchia is that she is trying and she's growing with her promos, and you can see it every time that even though she's nervous, she's trying her best. And I love that she's giving that effort. And when people see that you're making that effort, they applaud you even more than usual, if that makes sense. So I feel like there's something that's really happening with her, and that's what's helping her grow her connection with the crowd. And I really like that for her. Yeah, for the Io and Rhea match. At one point, then Rhea's she needs Io, and she sends Io face first to the commentary table as well. Like, you don't have a problem. I agree with you. There's a point that Io does her moonsault, but Rhea intercepts it, and there's a poison runner from Io as well. There was a moment here that they both went through the crowd, which is something I wasn't expecting. The referee got taken out. Io hit the referee, and then Rhea went to take advantage, and she had a 3 count, but there was no referee in sight. And they went through some parts in the arena here, going against each other. And this is the part I was not expecting, because technically still Rhea's a face, Io's a face. So just thinking about her going around the ring, I thought somebody was going to come in at one point because I could see the crowd kind of moving back and forth. And they were just like trying to look to see if there's any clue as to who was coming out. But there was no clue as to, I kept thinking, like, who's going to come out during this? Ref just took a dropkick bump. Let's go. The one thing though, I know that Jess is a wrestler, so I found it very unrealistic with just a dropkick would take her out. That's the only thing that I couldn't like not think about during this whole thing. But this is something I was not expecting during this match, because usually you will expect them when there's somebody with a faction, somebody with a group, or with teammates, because you know their teammates are going to come in and help them somehow. But Rhea doesn't have that. Io doesn't have that right now. So I just couldn't think of why this was happening. But I love that they were able to show off a little bit through the crowd, because there was no referee counting them out. So they were able to do their thing through the crowd there. Io did a Spanish fly. And just when you have that moment that both Rhea and Io are so down, and it's, I don't say it's quiet, but it's like that moment of like they're resting in the ring. But if like that also commented how long she was out. See, I'm not the only one. When we had that moment that we're both laying on the canvas on the mat, and it's just kind of like that quiet moment, because you're just waiting for the next thing to happen, and Naomi's music happens, and I just said, "There's no way she's gonna cash in. There's no way. Really, there isn't." I was not in my mindset was, and I told that to Bobby as well as I was watching it. I thought that maybe with Jay going against Tiffany at SummerSlam, Jay would win, and Naomi would cash in on her and take that, that spotlight away from Jade and get revenge on her that way. So in my mind, I was thinking she's gonna take that title to the SmackDown side somehow, and then she comes out during this, and I'm waiting for that, as I call it, the procedure of the Money in the Bank cash in. We get the announcement. I mean, I thought about it too, but I enjoyed the outside fighting. I did too, which is I wasn't expecting it to happen during this match. That's why I enjoyed it even more. But the part here with Naomi is the fact that I was waiting for them to do the announcement, for her to give the referee the briefcase, and then get the official announcement that it was a 3-way now, and it wasn't a one-on-one match anymore. So I thought that was super interesting. Bobby, Survivor Series Jade Chambers, Naomi champion. I don't know. I miss those kind of matches of champion versus champion, but I don't know if that'll happen. I really miss those, to be honest. But yeah, I love the fact that she was able to join in. She hit the briefcase on Io's face. She took out Rhea and went and did her thing and pinned Io. And I was thinking, this is why this was the main event, because they knew something like this is gonna happen. But again, I'm really happy for Naomi. She's been one of those people that has been working super hard for years and years, and not getting really that recognition that she should have been getting. And I'm glad that now she's able to really get that spotlight here tonight. And I feel like this is something that we're going to be talking about for a couple of days. And then now that she is a girl from SmackDown, getting a championship from Raw, does that mean we get, some kind of change between her and somebody else switching brands at that point? Because if it is, then who will be that person to change brands? Because I feel like usually, not, I would say most of the time, that's what happens when somebody wins a championship from a brand that is not theirs. But again, like the fact that she's able to get the spotlight, I was so happy for her. It's something that it came up unexpected, and to see this graphic and new women's world champion Naomi, I loved it. Charlotte also posted this one. I mean, when nothing changes hands, it has to be a big moment to end the show. Exactly. It's like I was just kind of thinking how it was gonna play out in the end. Charlotte also posted this picture as well from Naomi. I feel like this is the moment to give her that championship, because she's been on a great run, and she's doing such a huge character change for her, and doing something new and something different, not only on TV but in her social media as well. And to me, this is the time that you crown her as champion. I'm not on the brand that I expected it to be, but I'm very happy for her. She has done so much, and she has been one of those people that has been here for so long, that I'm glad she gets that crowning moment that we're all going to be talking about tonight, and hopefully for the next couple of days, and any changes moving forward in storylines because of Naomi being there. But again, really well done overall. Great pay-per-view. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, very happy for her too. I met her when I was in TNA, exactly the last appearance that she had in TNA before she headed off to the Royal Rumble. But yeah, very happy for her. Great way to end the pay-per-view in itself. Let's see. And everyone watching on YouTube, leave a comment, and hit the like button, hit subscribe for more content. We had a great weekend of wrestling here. We had All In, and we had Great American Bash coverage, and obviously here Evolution as well. So if you haven't yet, please go watch those. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when we upload or go live. Same thing for my channel as well. Hit the like button in both videos, the one on mine and the one on Ollie's channel. And then I'll head off with this one. And the last thing will be, hopefully if I can find it here, perhaps, there we go. And yeah, since this is the end for me, you can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky as Astrid Pizarro, and my Instagram and Threads is Astrid Pizarro 20. Again, you will find me on Tuesday doing Taking Over with Ed, talking about all the changes that we had after the Great American Bash, and even this weekend at Evolution with everything Blake Monroe and Jordynne Grace and Fatal Influence. So it's going to be a lot of fun wrestling week again, but I know it's a busy weekend of wrestling, so I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I know there's a lot going on this weekend, and this is how we end up with Evolution, but overall, really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed your wrestling weekend as well. So hopefully everything went well. Since I was so late, I was going to back and say that's Soul Snatcher to Charlotte. I know, chef's kiss. It was beautiful. But no, I want to thank everybody again for being here tonight with me. And then hopefully everybody enjoy their wrestling weekend. And then I'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always